Hi everybody, Brandon Lee, and welcome back to the Art of Systematic Success. Hey, this month I'm talking sales. And just as a reminder, the reason I'm talking sales is that in November and December, when I talk to my clients and my community about their goals for 2014, it just seemed like all the goals revolved around growth, around revenues, about conversion rates. We all want to advance our lives and advance our careers. And the best way of doing that is increasing our sales. We make more money, we can hire more people, we can do more things. So this month is all about sales. What I'm talking about today is about answering objections and planning for your close. And the best thing that I can say in looking at dealing with objections and the fear of going into a close is to go into it realistic. And what I mean by that is that buyers are skeptical. There's so much information out there. We are all so easily accessible that we get hit up to buy things all the time. I mean, everything from walking out of a grocery store. One of my biggest pet peeves is you can't walk down a mall anymore without the carts in the middle and somebody wanting to put lotion on my hands or give me a head massage or something. It's like, I'm not there in your, going to your cart. Don't try to sell me something. So we're all inundated with sales, personally and professionally. On the professional side, your emails, your social medias, your LinkedIn's, you're constantly being hit up. So buyers are skeptical, just as you are skeptical. So go into it, first of all, knowing that they are going to be skeptical. They are going to have objections, right? Every successful sale, conversation, or presentation has to have objections. I mean, think about it. When have you ever gone into a sales call that they had absolutely no objections, no questions, just everything was happy, happy, joy, joy, and at the end of it, they signed the contract and you walked out? It's just not realistic. So you go into them expecting that and being prepared. Now, a key thing that I have used over the years that has served me well in being prepared for those objections is what I've learned from Brian Tracy over the years about the law of six. And basically what he says, the research says, is that there are really only 6 objections that your clients are going to have. Now, you may have fewer and you may have more, but really you're going to have 6 areas of objections. So be prepared. Spend the time and ask yourself if, in order to close this deal, what objections could they possibly have? And write them all down and then prepare your answers for them so that you are ready and confident. You can speak well. When the objection comes, instead of scrambling to say, oh gosh, what do I do? How do I do this? You very confidently say, I planned for this. I prepared for this. I can sit here. I can be a good listener. I can not sweat this, and I can go into my routine of answering this objection, whether you're asking questions back to clarify or you have a story to tell, whatever it may be. You have confidence, you have clarity, you know exactly what you want to do. Now, that brings us into the next step. As you go through a sales process, a conversation, a presentation, you know your values, as we've talked about already, and now you're prepared for objections and you're answering those as they come up or whenever it's appropriate for you to handle the objections. And then you get into the close. Now, this is what's interesting for me. First of all, well over 50% of salespeople have never been trained. They have a lot of conversations and they don't have a plan, they don't have a strategy, and they could very, very easily double their sales if they just planned better for their close or planned at all. I find a lot of them just not even planned. They just become conversations that end the prospective buyer going, well, hey, let me think about it and I'll get back to you. And the salesperson going, okay. Maybe they say, okay, I'll call you back next week or whatever. But really that's non-buyer speak for please leave so I don't have to reject you outright. I'm not interested. Normally, they don't understand the value. Maybe they don't have a need, but either way, you're walking out, a salesperson's walking out without clarity as to where they stand. Did it meet the client's needs? Do they truly understand it? Because they haven't prepared. So let's talk about planning for the close. Now, there are a lot of different techniques for the close. What I generally recommend is to have at least 2 or 3 in what I call in your back pocket. These are closes that you know, you have them memorized, you've practiced them, you've perfected them, and based on the conversation and where it's going, you'll know which close that you want to use. Now, I really focus on 4 closes. Like I said, there's a lot more, but I focus on 4 closing techniques in my training. I'm going to share one of them with you today, which is usually my favorite, and it's the assume the close technique. What I feel is that if I'm in a presentation or I'm in a conversation and it's flowing and they have objections and I'm answering them and I'm doing those well, I'm listening, I'm asking clarifying questions, and the conversation keeps flowing. When it gets to a point where I know what the objections are going to be, I've got majority of them answered, or maybe even checked off all of them, at some point what I like to do is just assume the close. And here's what you do, is you just walk forward into your next step, assuming that they're ready. Now you say, okay, well, the next steps are, let's get the contract, let me get you connected with an account manager, whatever your process is, you use that language to assume the close. Now, I can, I see right through the lens, and some of you are kind of squirming saying, oh, that's just so salesy and all that. Yeah, it is, but it also works, and it's not rude. It doesn't have to be this arrogant, just walk you through. You do it well. You do it as a likable person, right? You've set this up in the conversation or in the presentation so that you're not coming off as just a hard, in-your-face salesperson. Very easily, if they are not ready to move forward, they're going to tell you. And you can say, oh, I'm sorry, what other questions did you have? Can you explain to me where you're not certain, or you need clarity on how this is going to add to you and your business? But assuming the close is just saying, let's move forward. And I always like to have a follow-up story ready to tell them. Remember, we've talked about this a couple weeks ago, that we all buy, your buyers buy from emotion, and then they look for facts to support it. So I like to have stories always available, client success stories always available to support whatever I'm doing. If I'm answering an objection, have a story. If I'm assuming a close, have a story. So when I assume the close, they hesitate, they push back, they're not ready to move forward, whatever their reason is, I have a story in my back pocket for that objection, for that concern. Maybe it's just they're skeptical, they're nervous, they want to, but they're not ready. I have a story to tell and be able to say, hey, I understand you're not ready. Hey, this reminds me of, and I'll tell them a client success story about how they were similar to them. They did it anyway. This is what happened. They're happy now because this was very successful for them. It increased their sales, it built their team, whatever it may be. So you apply that into your own business and go into your closing conversations confident and strategic, and you will really, it's a very simple way of doubling your sales. So I hope this has served you well. I enjoy doing these. If you are finding these valuable and you want to go a bit deeper, I invite you to take a look at my online membership program. This topic here, there's about a 50-minute training video in my membership program that goes deep dives into this, along with my guides, my templates, and my how-tos to really show you exactly what I've done over the years in building and selling 3 companies for about $18 million. I'd love to share it all with you, pour it into you. I hope you have a great day. I look forward to talking with you on social media or down in the comments below. Let me know how this is working for you and how I can help you more. Thank you. Have a great day.